thought I'd talk a little bit about remembering past lives for those of you that are curious. For me, it started when I started meditating more seriously in my late 20s. Within that context, they talk about getting concentrated quite quickly, like I can still my mind and get quite focused energetically quite quickly. And within that, it was always interesting. People would say, oh, ground, come back into the body. And what I would find was the more contact I made with my body, the more I opened into space and nothingness or memory. And I soon found, this was just meditating on my own before I was going to classes actually, I would sit and I would close my eyes, and very quickly I was in the body of someone else in another context and another time. And it wasn't like I could sit there and I could say, oh, my name is Jane, I am 45 and I live in Pennsylvania. It wasn't like that. It was, I could very much feel the sensation of my size, how stocky how small I was, and whether I was, what gender I was, and the sensation of the sun or whatever on my face. And I'd look down and I could see my hands and have this real sense of being somewhere else. Like the one that's coming through to me just now is a memory of the sense of deep connection with the environment and with the woman that was with me. That's, no one's murdering children, that's just the ski centre playing. It's fun, it's not scary. Well, maybe it is scary, but they're not dying. I remember that feeling of sitting with this woman who was either blood sister or sister in friendship, and I knew that it was my mother, like my mother now. And I had this sense of being by the cliffs, what looks kind of like Grand Canyon-ish environment, and just this deep connection to and peace. I could feel the deep connection to the land and to her, and it was a memory. I was just remembering. And this, would come up again and again in different contexts, and particularly when I was meeting someone that my soul registered as, I know this person, I've met them before. So I remember when I met my now husband, we went to a gong bath, and I suddenly was again being flooded with memories of him becoming my wife and us living in Mongolia, and just how much I loved her and now him, and how beautiful she looked. And I remember all this long beading, and I looked it up. I often see things and then I look it up, and that was the kind of traditional dress for marriage, I believe, via Google. So I think, don't necessarily think that you're going to get lots of detail around, this was my job, my age, the names of my kids. Like, that's not how it comes through for me. It's very much sensory impressions and a deep remembering, and usually there's information in it for you around acknowledging a connection. It's just a trigger, like a memory coming up around a connection. And it's very similar when I work with clients and there's something traumatic that needs to be processed that comes in. I can, the key parts of the scene will be revealed and shown. So it's getting very noisy, so I'm going to pause there. But we'll come back and we'll talk more about past lives.